recorded. Okay, I guess that's good. So first of all, how is paddle today in Sweden?
Well, Padel today in Sweden is growing or spreading quicker than the COVID. So it's insane. I have to say it's so much fun to see. I think Sweden is the quickest country to expand with Padel in the world. So it started, I would say, 6-7 years ago with Jonas Björkman and some other people, especially in the south of Sweden, to start opening paddle courts and paddle centers. And now I think that it's probably one of the most popular sports in our country. Because you know as well as I do that it's very social. If you have a little bit of coordination, or you play tennis or squash or football or ice hockey or whatever before, you can pick it up quite quick. You can come to a quite good level pretty fast. So, and I think that's what makes the sport so much fun, because you're not so dependent on the level. I mean, in paddle you can play 3 with a very good level and 1 with okay level, and you would still have a great session. In tennis, for example, it's quite tough. If you play a doubles match and you have 3 players on a high level and 1 on an okay level, I don't think you would enjoy it that much as you do in paddle.
Is it due to climate too in Sweden to be indoor?
Yes, I think that we have most of our courts are indoors, of course, like you said, because of the weather. But now I also see outdoor courts being built close to golf clubs, so golf courses. So we have a lot of golf courses in Sweden as well, and they try to now build maybe between 2 to 4 courts, right next to the golf course, because they also feel like paddle is such an amazing sport to play. So I seriously don't know how many courts we have now in Sweden, but it's crazy, and I love it. But I love to see the development of paddle in Sweden.
In France, we used to listen to the growth of paddle in Sweden with Ibrahimovic, because he has built and is building paddle center. I guess it's a huge fan and a huge opportunity for Sweden to develop paddle.
Yes, it is, and also with Zlatan Ibrahimovic, but also with Jonas Björkman. They have a little bit of a different concept when they build the paddle courts. But both of them have been very, very important for Sweden, and especially now during the pandemic, with all the musicians, actors, people that haven't been able to work their normal job, they have also entered paddle. So the exposure of paddle now in Sweden is crazy. So, and this is what I love about the sport. Now when we have dinners, when I went to Sweden a couple of weeks ago, I mean, I meet people that I never thought would put sports shoes on their feet, and they said that we play paddle 2-3 times a week, and I love it. I really love it. So I think it could be one of the biggest sports in the world.
Yeah, for afterworks, it's a new way. You said it's growing more quickly than COVID, and also because it's respecting all the barriers.
Yes, it's also one of the few sports in Sweden that the facilities have been open, not all the time, but most of the time. So it's also been, I mean, for the paddle business, it's been great, because most of the people now are coming to the paddle venues instead of maybe doing something else.
You and Jonas Björkman are involved in the Swedish national team?
No, it's only Jonas. Jonas entered now as the captain of the Swedish Federation team, which is a lot of fun because I really think that Jonas can give a lot of his experience from the tennis, both mentally and with preparations and how to act like a professional player. And this, I think, is very, very important, not only for the Swedish team, but for all the padel players in the world, because padel is a small sport for the moment, but it's growing like crazy. And I think in a couple of years, it's going to be a massive sport globally. So I'm happy to see former players entering former tennis players entering the padel scene, because I think that we can contribute with many things.
What do you think of the trends to see former tennis players to play padel? I guess it's a really good advertising for the growing of the padel, because there are famous figures and famous people, and actually say if they play, I can play too. No?
Yeah, I agree. When I stopped playing tennis, my first sport to do when I retired was golf. So I played a lot of golf for, I would say, maybe 2-3 years. But when you have kids, golf is taking a little bit too long. So then I discovered padel. So for me, it's great because we have 2 kids. Now they're a little bit bigger, so now I have a little bit more time. But in padel, it's great. You can go up, you play 1.5 hours, you get a good workout, you have a lot of fun. So, I mean, from door to door, it takes you maybe 2 hours, and you're back in the office again. But if you play golf, it takes pretty much the whole day. So, and this is one of the big reasons why because I really like playing golf as well. But for me, padel was more fun. And what I feel is every time I play, doesn't matter who I play with, I feel like I have learned something. I always go from the court with that I've learned something new. And this is for me amazing with the sport, because if I go and I play tennis, I don't learn anything because I've been doing that for my whole life. So I know most of the areas of the court and how to do and how to act. So in padel, I feel like I learn something new every day.
And there is no yips in padel.
Sorry?
There is no yips in padel than in golf.
No, exactly, yeah.
So maybe less frustrating to play padel than to play
well
golf.
Yes, that I agree with you, because when I play golf, and I can understand, because golf is a very difficult sport. It's very, very difficult, and the more you play, the more difficult it becomes. But I agree with you, because in padel you also play doubles. If you get frustrated or irritated, it affects the whole team. So that's why I enjoy more playing padel than playing golf, even though I really enjoy playing golf as well. But for the moment, my focus is padel.
Yeah, Rafael Nadal is playing a lot of golf too, and padel in Mallorca. So
yes, he's very, very good in both sports, actually. But that also shows that what I said about what Jonas can contribute to the padel federation in Sweden is that you see that Rafa, he could have become a good athlete in pretty much any sport, because he's so stubborn and he's so determined of what he wants to do. So that shows that if he would have entered golf, maybe he would have not been that successful like he was in tennis, or he's been in tennis, but he would still been a very good golfer.
You're involved in APT?
Yes.
For the people who don't know what it's about, it's a worldwide padel tour, is it?
Yes. Yes, it is. It's the APT Padel Tour. It stands for American Padel Tour. We are a global paddle tour that we are on 3 continents. So we are in South America, we are in the States, and we also have events in Europe. So like we spoke about, you and I, paddle has been my big passion for the last 5 years, I would say. So for me to be the new general manager of the APT Padel Tour is a great honor, because now I have the privilege of to work with my big passion in life outside tennis. So we will try to create a new tour, something different. We will be the tour for everyone, and this is the, I think, the most important message is that people should be able to relate to our tour wherever we go. But our goal is to grow even more, to put our events in more countries, so people can have the chance to discover this amazing sport.
Is it risky to have 2 main federations with APT on one side and World Padel Tour on another side? Because mainly when there are 2 or more federations, I think about boxing, for example, people it has built lost of all the competitions and all the circuits.
I think for the moment, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but for the moment, I think there is room for both of us, because paddle is for the moment a quite small sport, but like I said, it's growing so fast. So I think that there is room for both of us. I think we work a little bit different as well. Our tour is a little bit more global. We want to touch more people around the world. The most important thing for me and for our tour is to be global and also make people that they can try this amazing sport. And we're also trying to work with the young players as well, because I'm also in working with the Fabrice Pastor Cup, which is I would say more a charity paddle event that Mr. Pastor has created, and it has been very, very successful in the last couple of years. So, and this is also a thing that we want to give young boys and girls a chance to put more time and energy into paddle.
And you used to play with Thomas Enquist, if I'm not mistaken.
I played a little bit. Are we talking paddle or tennis? Tennis, I played a lot with Thomas, but paddle, yes, as well. And Thomas is one of my best friends. So Thomas is now living in Aix-en-Provence. So we spend, not now when the COVID has come, but before we were spending a lot of weekends together. We had a lot of fun. Thomas is playing paddle a little bit like he plays tennis. He goes for everything. He plays very hard, hits hard. Unfortunately, with a lot of rebounds. So the players that we play can take advantage of that. But we've had some good matches. We always have a lot of fun on the court. So I would like him to start playing a little bit more, actually.
Is there a Swedish way of playing paddle? Because remembering, for example, Stefan Edberg, Swedish players are good in volley. So for paddle, it's you have a tradition to play that way. Very offensive.
Padel has been in Sweden for, I would say, between 6 to 8 years. So we're still quite new with the sport. And I think that what we have to do in Sweden is we have to try to get more coaches from Spain or from South America to teach us how to play paddle. Because now in Sweden, and I think it's not only Sweden, I think it's in a lot of countries, that the paddle coaches are former tennis players, and we are quite good with the racket and the ball, but we don't know how to teach paddle. And this is something that will take a little bit of time. But now, for example, the top teams in Sweden they actually have a quite good level now, you know, because they have learned how to play padel. They have invested in some foreign coaches as well. So I think that hopefully in a couple of years we will have some good teams, you know, on if it's World Padel Tour or if it's APT Padel Tour, but top teams in the world of padel.
It's important to have example to attract new people and mainly kids and teenagers, because in tennis, since Robin Söderling, there are no more great players like in your era or Stefan Edberg before, and there's a lack of Swedish good players from Sweden for a long time now. So for padel, it's compulsory to get new players and people to identify.
I agree with you. In the world of tennis, if you talk about Sweden, I think that we have missed a little bit to attract kids in the suburbs of big cities, because if you look at, for example, the Swedish football team, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic has been an icon in this matter that I'm talking about now, is that he's been attracting so many kids, boys and girls, from the suburbs outside the big cities, and they have started to play football. In tennis, we have failed in this, because I think we've been focusing maybe in the big cities. We have not gone outside the big cities, because that's where I think you have a lot of talent and also big determinations to accomplish something. I think that the Swedish tennis have to do that, and that's what the Swedish padel also have to do. So we cannot only focus on the big cities. We have to go outside, but that's also why I love to see that padel is growing. Padel is growing not only in the big cities, but also outside the big cities. And this is one of the reasons why I think that Sweden will be a very strong nation in X amount of years.
Going back to APT, what about the development of women circuit and women tournaments?
Yeah, we are, because this is also very important for us, because if we say that this tour is for everyone, it has to be for the women as well. And this is something that we are working intensively with now, to start up a women's tour as well. I think that within a couple of days, we will probably announce something very interesting. So, because I see that, social padel is pretty much 50-50. I'm talking about Sweden now. It's 50-50, I would say, men, women, which I love. But if you see at the competitive level, it's a big difference. More men are competing than the women. And this is a challenge for us at APT Padel Tour, to try to attract more women into our sport.
And do you think that there will be a rivalry with World Padel Tour to attract the best players, for Bella, for example, or LeBron, or any other good players, to be more popular, to get more views, for example, on YouTube? Is it compulsory for you to create a rivalry with the World Padel Tour, because today it's the main circuit of tournaments?
Yeah, I think both tours and all federations, we have to think what's best for padel. I'm not interested in this, if you call it rivalry or how you want to call it. I'm not interested in this, because I come from tennis, and I want the best for the sport. I want to grow padel. Private interests aside, we have to see what's best for the sport. And now we have a big chance, everybody that is involved in padel have a big chance to grow the sport, because like I said, it's still quite small, but it's growing very fast. And that's why I think now is the golden time to try to make something very, very good for Padel, you know. So I mean, we have great players in the world, and you know, for them, I think it's just a matter of time before they will be very, very famous in more countries around the world. So, and that's our goal as well. You know, we have to try to build profiles. We have to build icons in our sport, because that's also how you awake interest among the kids. So I'm only here to try what's, you know, and I will fight, I will do whatever I can to grow the sport in the best possible way. Because I think that with my experience from the tennis, I mean, I've been a part of one of the biggest sports in the world. So I've seen what they've done, what they have done really well, what they have done, you know, okay. And then I will try to bring all the good things that my life has brought me, and then I will try to apply it on Padel.
Let's say, let's dream a little bit. In 5 years, would it be possible to imagine like a Super Bowl of Padel with the best players from APT and on the other side, World Padel Tour meeting together and making like a competition like the stars of both federations?
Yeah, it would be. It's a good idea that you just brought to me, but but I don't know. You know, I think the idea is very good. But you know, first of all, we have to try to grow the Padel around the world. You know, I see that. I mean, I see what happens in Sweden, and I love it. What I see. I see, you know, I speak to most of the federations, and I also see the development of Padel in countries that I never thought that Padel would actually grow. And that's, I mean, no one is happier than myself. So I think that we have a big challenge now in the next couple of years to try to grow the sport more in Europe, to grow the sport more in the States, you know, to maybe grow the sport even in Asia, you know, and other countries. So, and how do you do that? First of all, you have to try to build paddle courts, you know, for the people to see what you know, and how to play. And I think that, you know, in our organization, I think that, you know, there is a big interest from us as well to develop paddle in other countries as well.
Do you think it's the best way to do that is the internationalization of Padel? Because in World Padel Tour, it's mainly Spanish players and Argentinian players, some Brazilian, but except that, two French players, nothing more, and that's it. And the big aim of APT is to develop the numbers of contestants, I guess.
Yes, and you're spot on in what you're saying. I mean, our goal is to try to become more global and try to attract more players around the world, you know, to be able to play Padel and also make a living from the Padel. Because for the moment, there are only a few players in the world that actually makes a living out of Padel. And if the sport continues to grow like this, my goal or our goal is also that more players should make a living from Padel. But I mean, I would love that we would have, you know, strong national teams in pretty much in the whole Europe, and maybe also in the States. And like I said, maybe in South America. I mean, South America, it's like you said, Argentina and Brazil and all these countries they have great players, but also grow even more, you know. So, and we have many ideas, many interesting projects ahead of us, but it will take time. It will take time. You know, Rome was not built in one day. So we have to, you know, we have to be patient. But I think we have a good strategic plan how to try to make Padel to one of the biggest sports in the world.
Okay, well, we follow this closely and with frequency. And well, Thomas, many thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
And see you soon. I guess with all the other announcements you're gonna make in the next weeks and next month. So
yes,
all the
yes,
best.
I'm sure we will have more contact in the future.
Perfect. Tack så mycket.
Ja, tack.
Goodbye. Hej då.
Thank you.